What if I told you that everything you think you know about Black identity is based on untruths? Today, we're diving deep into the truth that's hiding in plain sight. The story of who is considered Black has sparked debates for generations, especially in America. But the truth goes beyond appearances or history. It's rooted in the spiritual and scientific foundations of human existence. From Vice President Kamala Harris to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we're exploring the profound origins of Black identity and what it means to be Black in today's world. Greetings and welcome, history seekers. I'm Carolyn A. from GettingToTheRoots.com. Here, we're all about uncovering and celebrating your unique family history. Together, we'll explore and honor the stories that define us. Let's dive in. Who is really Black in America? The question of who is considered Black has been debated for generations. Many people define Blackness based on appearances, such as skin color, hair texture, or facial features. But Black identity is more than just how someone looks. It is tied to culture, history, and self-identification. And it spans a wide range of regions and nationalities. Black people who live in the United States come from all over the world, not just Africa. People with dark skin or African ancestry can be from Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, or other Caribbean islands. They can also be Afro-Latinos from countries like Brazil, Colombia, or the Dominican Republic. On the African continent, Black people represent hundreds of ethnic groups, speaking thousands of languages and practicing diverse traditions. Black identity even extends to regions where it might not be expected, like Europe or Asia. For example, the Siddhis in India are descendants of Africans with their own distinct culture. This global diversity highlights that Blackness is not one single experience. An African American, whose ancestors were enslaved in the United States, may have a very different cultural identity from someone who grew up in Nigeria or Jamaica. While they may share some struggles, such as facing racism or discrimination, their traditions, languages, and histories are unique to their communities. Black culture isn't one size fits all. The many names Blacks were called? Throughout history, individuals of African descent in the United States have been labeled with various terms, each carrying its own connotations and implications. Enslavers and oppressors often used derogatory names such as the N-word, coon, quadroon, octoroon, and freedman to dehumanize and control. In response, the Black community adopted empowering identifiers like Afro-American, African American, and Black to assert their identity and heritage. Influential leaders have also introduced terms to redefine Black identity. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, leader of the Nation of Islam, referred to Black individuals as the original Asiatic Black man, emphasizing a connection to ancient civilizations and a distinguished heritage. Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, taught that African Americans are descendants of the Moabites and thus are Moorish by nationality and Islamic by faith. The term original holds particular significance as it aligns with scientific findings. Studies of migration patterns and DNA evidence indicate that all humans can trace their origins back to Africa, affirming that Black men and Black women are indeed the original people of the earth. Scientists have traced human origins to a region in East Africa, often referred to as the cradle of humankind. Fossils of early humans, like Homo sapiens, have been discovered in areas like Ethiopia, Kenya, and Tanzania. One of the most famous discoveries is Lucy, a 3-million-year-old skeleton of Australopithecus afarensis found in Ethiopia, which gave the world a better understanding of our earliest ancestors. DNA evidence strengthens this narrative. Every human alive today carries mitochondrial DNA that points back to a single common ancestor, often called mitochondrial Eve. This ancient woman lived in Africa around 150,000 to 200,000 years ago. Migration patterns, supported by genetic studies, show that early humans began their journey out of Africa approximately 60,000 years ago, spreading across Asia, Europe, and eventually the Americas. This means that all people, regardless of race or nationality, can trace their origins back to the African continent. These migrations created the diversity we see today, but the evidence is clear. The roots of humanity are undeniably African. Now, let's explore a spiritual perspective rooted in the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad shared a profound story about the origins of humanity, centering on the black man as the first and divine creation of Allah. He taught that black people were the original humans, referring to them as the original Asiatic black man. In his teachings, the entire earth was once called Asia, and black people were not only its first inhabitants but also its rightful rulers. According to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, human civilization itself began in the Middle East, specifically near Mecca in present-day Saudi Arabia. This sacred region, he believed, was the spiritual and historical birthplace of humanity, where life and divine order first flourished. In his narrative, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad introduced the story of Yaqub, a brilliant black scientist who lived about 6,000 years ago. Yaqub envisioned creating a new race of people, and through his scientific genius, he embarked on an extraordinary process. He sought to separate the brown germ from the black germ within the black man, initiating a method called grafting. This process, carried out over generations by Yaqub and then his followers, eventually led to the producing of lighter-skinned individuals and, ultimately, the white race. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that all the races known today, brown, yellow, and white, emerged from this grafting method. Yaqub's vision was more than just the creation of a new race, it was the establishment of a temporary rulership. He believed that his new race would dominate the earth for 6,000 years, a period that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad described as a test for the original black people. This era of white dominance, according to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, marked a deviation from divine intention, characterized by moral and spiritual decline. Yet, it was also destined to end, paving the way for a return to the natural order where the original people would reclaim their rightful place as the custodians of the earth. This story, as taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is both a literal and symbolic narrative about the origins of humanity, the challenges faced by black people, and the eventual restoration of divine justice. When the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad referred to black people as original, it isn't just symbolic. It reflects our shared connection to the very beginnings of human life. Blackness isn't just a label, it is a testament to the very foundation of humanity itself. Is Kamala Harris black? What about Barack Obama? Are they African American? By the definition that ties African American identity specifically to the descendants of the enslaved in the United States, the answer is no. But are they black? Absolutely, yes, according to the one-drop rule established by white society. Don't change the rule in 2024. Trump, when it don't agree with your agenda. Just like white people can be German, Irish, or Polish, black identity isn't just one thing. It's so much more than a single label. Black people come from different places, speak different languages, and have all kinds of traditions. Let's break it down. Celia Cruz, born in Havana, Cuba, was an Afro-Latina singer known as the Queen of Salsa. Her music and vibrant personality celebrated her African roots and Cuban culture, proving that black identity spans traditions and continents. Kamala Harris's father is Jamaican, and her mother is Indian. Barack Obama's father was Kenyan, and his mother was white. Michelle Obama, in contrast, is African American because her lineage includes ancestors who were enslaved in the United States, making her a direct link to the legacy of African Americans. Now consider Walter Rodney, a historian and activist from Guyana, South America. Rodney's scholarship, particularly in his book How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, explored the interconnected histories of black people worldwide. Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana and a leader in Africa's independence movement, represents black identity on the African continent. Nkrumah's vision for Pan-Africanism emphasized the shared struggles and triumphs of all people of African descent. But, in the United States, all are labeled black by society. Here's the kicker: in the United States, if you look black, you are black, no matter where your roots trace back to. Blackness is a shared experience, but it is also deeply personal, shaped by culture, heritage, and history. What is the legacy of the original people? The black man and woman are the original people of the earth. Science confirms this undeniable truth. Every human being on this planet can trace their roots back to Africa. Why does this happen? Why do black people consistently demonstrate such unmatched strength and compassion, even when it comes at our own expense? Perhaps it is because, as the original people, the world's parents, we carry an inherent sense of responsibility for humanity. Like a parent who sacrifices for their children, black people often step on glass to save others, even when we are not treated with the same kindness in return. Blackness is not just a label or a category. It is the root of humanity itself, and it carries within the power to bring the world together. From darkness emerges light, the source of all creation. Well, history seekers, that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories in African American history. Want to know how Europe conquered the world? Watch our next video. What no one tells you about Europe's grip on Africa. Thanks for watching. Peace and love.